All right, beautiful. Well, just make
I don't
sure.
mind if you leave the screen on.
Okay, cool. I kind of like it off
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
because
yeah.
then it's
Do
just like, well, we could have it like dim, but it's just
do
yeah,
as you want.
yeah. Make sure that yeah. Okay, so just had a well, first of all, here with brother Remi. Remi is just a beautiful soul, beautiful shaman wizard who's introduced me to Bufo and yeah,
What's
just
left of him?
what's left of Remi. What is your last name, Remi?
Delaune,
Delaune.
which means on it's a tree in France. So Remy from this tree.
Mm.
It's
Delaune.
an on. It's a tree.
Hmm. Do you have any other names that you go by?
Yes, my true name is Elias. Elijah.
Elias. Ah.
Elijah is my baptismal name, and that's
Ah.
the way my family call me. But on my papers, it's Remy.
Mm. Elias.
Elijah.
Elijah. I like that. The biblical name.
Yeah, that's my name. I answer that easier than Remy usually.
Mm. Mm.
But when my wife started to say Elijah, run.
Run.
And so, ooh.
So I just wanted to say a couple words about the experience I just had. So yeah, I just smoked some Bufo. Remi helped me do that, and yeah, it was beautiful. It was my fourth time now, and just while it's fresh, it was like wasn't total ego dissolution. I was still like could still feel like the presence, like I am presence. Although kind of was just going into a space of being like pure consciousness, pure awareness, and there's just these indescribable rippling sacred geometric patterns, like indescribable kind of like fractal mandalas and like cascading intricate waterfall labyrinths of just like
Fractals.
fractal lattice work. And yeah, Remi was saying that that's the ayahuasca being reactivated most likely.
Yeah, the bufo is not that much visionary.
Mm-hmm.
The ayahuasca is a visionary plant, but the bufo it's an experience more than a vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very physical. It's like
Can be.
I didn't have the om this time. The first three times I was at Kumankaya, it feels like the energy of it is more powerful.
The energy of the place play a role too. So if you do
yeah.
it in very powerful places on earth, well, the experience will be different.
Uh-huh. That makes me realize how powerful the maloca is at Kumankaya. It's just because it's charged with such, because you've had many ceremonies there, and that skylight in the top of the maloca.
Made out of love also, that's why, and sacrifice. So I make it good.
Yeah. Can you say a bit about the story of Kumankaya, how it came to be?
Well, yes, it's at some point I've never really wanted to be a practitioner myself. I've surrendered to the trust of others, and so that's how I have started to serve, and to serve ayahuasca in our countries, in the States and in France, in Europe. For me, at some point felt not that it's important that ayahuasca is everywhere, but in my practice, at some point, it feels necessary to be in a place where you can be openly. You can be open about it. You don't have to be a little bit underground. So in the States, it's changing that. I hope in a few years we can find that everywhere in a legal way. I mean, so that's where our journey have started. And after lots of places that we look for and told us like it was not meant to be. Like we were supposed to go to Hawaii, then a volcano erupted and destroyed the property we were supposed to buy. And the fire in California, same property was supposed to buy. The fire came, burned everything, and so we discovered Mexico, and everything has pushed us to come here.
Wow.
Yes, it hasn't been easy, and for about 3 times we were about to drop it because it was lots of work. We basically bought a piece of jungle. Because
you guys built a road.
Yes,
built the
and
road
up to the road. So my wife, that didn't see the land before, was probably thinking American, So when she arrived, she said that no, there's not even a road to go to our land in the jungle. She was a little bit surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, you said she was...
She cried.
She cried.
First night she cried. She said, "What have you done to me?" And now she wouldn't leave the place for anything.
The story of how you met her was amazing. I remember you sharing that because you had been a monk for 20 years. 20 years.
Yeah, 19 years and some months.
Living at a Christian monastery. Yeah. In Europe.
I entered in the monastery. I was 17 years old.
Where is the monastery?
It's in the southeast of France, in the French Alps.
South of France, French Alps. Beautiful.
Yeah, Greek
17
monastery.
years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Because you'd been going there your whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was more than that. It was a call. So when the call comes, you don't have for me, there were no other option. I couldn't see anything else in my life at this time. And I was already interested that young to the plant and everything. Much more with psilocybin at this time. And keep studying the plants as on the side of my monastic life in a way for my personal studies, and start to work around 27 years old. I start to work seriously with peyote, growing my own peyote and everything, because my house was very close to this monastery, 10 minutes away through the mountain, through the forest.
How old were you when you
started with? I was 27.
When you started growing peyote?
Yeah.
When did you have your first psychedelic experience?
I was 17 years old. My first psychedelic experience was, I made a mistake because I didn't know. I take the equivalent of 10 hits of LSD at once, like that.
Wow,
I was
10 hits?
Yeah, I was high for 2 days.
Holy shit.
It wasn't just the high, it was a true shamanic experience. That's why I'm here today speaking to you.
Wow.
Yeah, because
so
this very
found
night...
you in a way.
Yeah. And so that's when...
What happened that night?
What happened that night, I mean, I took way too much of LSD, and it all started. And we're with friends, we are going to the forest and fire, and not party time, we're really fond of Carlos Castaneda books and stuff, stuff like that, take the 10 hits that I didn't know. It was way too much. And yes, and it was too ill like that, and suddenly these like gigantic snakes arrived, but like gigantic, and his eyes was the size of my size, even higher.
Whoa.
And I can see as a reflection, like a mirror of myself, and the scales of the snakes were having sequences of my life, animated.
Whoa.
Like very close to the near-death experience I had when I got into the snowboarding avalanche.
Wow.
The same sequences, animated sequences, you can feel the emotion you have in this memory, but you can also feel the emotions of other in this memory. It's like a mega sensation, mega feeling. You feel the whole situation, not just you. And so I was watching all of that. Well, after that it became really weird. I thought I was in another planet. I couldn't walk because I was so high. And so I thought the gravity has changed because I'm on a new planet, and so I have to learn watching my friends that were other people in my journey, watching them. You have to learn how they walk here because its gravity is different here. So that was my whole journey. But the snake was and way less, 20, not 20 years, but I would say 15 years down the hill, I've learned that ayahuasca is the symbol of ayahuasca is this giant snake that contains all life form and all memories also. So that, maybe was already...
So ayahuasca was already coming to you.
Who knows?
That was your first psychedelic experience?
That was my first psychedelic.
10 hits.
Yes. I was high for 2 days and I developed conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis, you say, for the eyes?
I don't know.
It's a condition.
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
So, because we're way too strong. Way too strong.
Wow.
Yes.
And then you were in the monastery for 20 years and you were studying at that time? You studied?
At this time, so first, it was pure monastic life.
Pure
like
monastic
really
life.
Traditional, austere. And
meditating
really,
a lot?
Yeah, you don't speak. Silent all the time. We're not like to speak. We do have lots of services, personal prayers, 4 a.m. every day, even on Sundays.
Wow.
And after that, this curiosity of mine was still there, and I always trust my curiosity like that. I mean, and so I started studying the plant, get back to discover the peyote first. That was my first. Still my first grandfather in a way, abuelo like that, my teacher, and by studying a lot. I've came across ayahuasca very fast, and it becomes evident that not that I was wanted it, but I was meant to be working for ayahuasca. And not that I wanted it. I tried that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I didn't want. I wanted just to do my experiences. That's it. But not necessarily be at the service of it. You know, and so dedicate my life to it. And so now, since approximately 10 years, yeah, I'm drinking 2 to 4 times a week, constantly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were also studying philosophy and music and religion or theology?
I've done all by homeschooling. I've been just 4 years in my entire life at school, actual physical school, because it was just a way of life. I had raised by my grandfather in the mountain and stuff. And so I did 7 years of philosophy, 4 years, 5 years in fact in total of theology, and 3 years of musicology. So it's equivalent for a little bit more than 14 years of superior studies. But I did philosophy and theology at the same time, 2 universities at the same time. So I did in Spain 14 years in total because I was doing 2 universities at the same time. Yeah, all by homeschooling, being at the monastery. Because also I have to say that at first when I arrived, the abbot didn't accept me. So you're too young. No. And for 3 years he put me in a probation until I turned 20. And during this time he didn't want me to lose this time in case it wasn't for me. So I can go back on my foot if when I leave the monastery. And so he asked me, do some studies by homeschooling, so at least you will have something on the side. But I ended up staying at the monastery. And I keep pushing. He said, well, you're studying, you like it, keep pushing it.
And how many books did you say you had when you left France?
My house was, my grandfather and I have inherited lots of library from people because my grandfather was a philosophy teacher too. Know lots of people. Around 11,000 books.
11,000 books.
I myself have read an estimation of between 7,000 and 8,000 books.
You've read 7,000 to 8,000 books?
An estimation.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, all the books of my house, I've read them, but some of them just very fast, just few, I didn't like this one, few paragraphs. So,
okay.
But read actually books and, between 7,000 and 8,000 books.
7,000 to 8,000 that you read like cover to cover,
yes.
More or less?
Yes. Compels them. No, compels them. Like taking notes and everything.
Notes
yeah.
Holy
and I read in my entire life, maybe I can count on 2 hands the number of novels I've read. So all the rest are like metaphysics, philosophy, religion, and then all those books, yeah.
Wow. Do you feel that the knowledge you can gain from books can only take you so far, and then there's certain like levels that have to be unlocked?
Absolutely.
Beyond that?
No, absolutely. The books are the sphere of the mind. So the mind is powerful, and it's the most precious tool we have on earth, that's for sure. But the mind is not us. So it's a tool, you know. I don't think I'm my mind. And thanks God I'm not just my mind, because sometimes it'll be woo. But no, it's the sphere of the mind is limited in its action. Yeah. And
so you were in the monastery 20 years, and then the last 12 years or so, you said you've been on the medicine path, and you did a 2-year diet at one point?
Well, in total, if you count all the diet that I've made, diet is a time of isolation in a jungle, taking a plant and drinking ayahuasca at night, and dreaming, learning from the plant. And so if you put in total all the diet that I've done my 2 apprenticeship diet. My first apprenticeship diet was 2 years straight. I was supposed to do 3 years straight, but I broke my back during the process. Or I had a very nasty sciatica, and my maestro said, no, you gotta take a break, and you finish your 3 years later. Now in total I have like 4 years and a half if I put everything together.
Holy
compact
shit.
all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, that is. Having just done a 3-week diet at your center, I can say that already felt like lifetimes, because time is so different in the jungle, in the diet space, disconnected from everything.
Well, at some point it becomes your way of life.
Yeah.
Life is like that. It's just this way.
Yeah.
And so you don't even question it, and it's a little bit hard on the body. I've been too severe on myself at the beginning. Wanted to do the maximum, maybe too monastic about it, like too extreme. I would do differently, because there's no need to be that hard on yourself when you diet. But there is some stuff to respect, just that, and so, yeah.
your maestro told you 1 year at least, or leave now, right?
No, now I mean there
you
is
found
the
it?
ancient tradition. Ancient tradition was minimum of 3 years straight. Normally it's 5 years straight to form a good curandero, a good medicine man, not someone who knows about magic and etc. That's very fast to learn. And energy of that comes very fast. But we don't want that. What we want is the medicine. It requires much more time.
Wow.
But now, because of the opening of the Western world and everything, things have changed. In a year, with a good maestro, a year diet apprenticeship, 1 year of isolation, taking the plants to learn, that's enough to give you the tools to be able to help a little bit the people. If you want to be really performant and help some severe cases, physical or psychological or sometimes spiritually with all the witchcraft and stuff that people have to deal with sometimes, and you gotta be strong to help them. So that requires more diet.
Wow.
The diet provides you the energy and the protections to be into these realms to do the work for people.
Wow. And you also learn different songs and different techniques to act to help with different things.
Yes, well, so those medicines, the buffo, are what is the essential is energy. The energy has to be realigned, reconnected. And so anything that can give you access to the energetical world is good. The tool has been chosen for me is the ayahuasca. That's my gate to enter into this world and do the work I have to do with good heart and good intention. But it can be different for other people. The goal is to access to those energy and to be able to interact with. What gives you this power of interacting is the plant. If you just go by yourself like that, yeah, you can see them, but you will not be able to change much stuff there because you don't have the almost, I would say, the spiritual physicality to go there and it doesn't do nothing. I do that, I do something. You understand what I mean?
Interesting.
Because I'm consistent in this world. That makes sense? Or
Consistent in this world, you
consistent,
say?
I mean like solid in this world. I have a consistency in this world given to by the plant. Someone who just drink ayahuasca access to this world doesn't have that yet, will not have this consistency inside. So his act will not have much effect of it. That makes sense? Or?
Yeah, it does. And you said at some point during your diet you could see the food like going through
that's
your,
the
through
extreme
your body.
stories, but yes, I lost in total, or during those 2 first years, something like 60 pounds or something like that.
60 pounds.
57 pounds exactly.
So you could see
when I was laying on my
body.
mat, basically you have a little bungalow which has no wall. It's just a platform, four pillars and a mosquito net around you, and there's the jungle there. Animals, anaconda and everything, name it. And when I was laying on my mat,
you
like
saw
that,
anacondas?
I saw one time an anaconda, yes, sunbathing on a tree next to me.
Wow.
And when I was laying on my mat, I can see where the food was in the process. When I was laying like that on my stomach, oh, it's there, oh, it's there, oh, it's there, oh, it's going kind of close to the exit. Time to go.
Could you actually see partially because of, were you almost like becoming transparent?
No, it was physical. I got so skinny that physical. I can say where in the tubes, if you want the pipes, where the food was. So it's not at all like transparency. No, it was really physical.
I thought maybe the plants you were like actually like having X-ray vision a little bit.
I wish it would have been that maybe, but no, it was actually really physical.
Okay. And then you met Ashley.
So yeah, I mean, I broke my back, couldn't complete my 3rd year. I completed after, but I went back to France. Get a surgery, came back, and I was about to open them, but I was still doing a little bit not that good because of my back. And so he said, we're going to wait a little bit to open your next diet. And Ashley, my wife, was there. So in fact, there was a divine purpose of all that, maybe of my sciatica, because if I wouldn't have done that, I would have not even see her. Because when you're in isolation, you don't see the people who are at the center. You're not supposed to. And so that's when I met her, and that's when everything has started. After all those years of monastery, well.
You said because you couldn't understand. Your hearing was impaired or so when she was speaking to you. So you you didn't speak English.
I didn't speak English that well.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's from the Midwest, so they have this way of like mumbling like that. And so we are the ceremony. after the ceremony we discuss, and she had during the ceremony, I sing for her this night. She asked me to sing for her. Went to her mat, I sing for her, and she had a vision where I was going to a council of a college of elders, asked the permission to be with her, of some kind of like, I don't know, high
alliance.
and so she thought, okay, he saw it too. We're on the same page. I didn't saw it at all. But I was on my mat like that. She came, and she sat. We hugged and stuff. We discussed like I do with everybody. Not necessarily. I know myself that I was a feeling for her, but I didn't say nothing. I'm very shy with women, and she asked me at this time. So after ceremony, you're still a bit under the effect. I don't speak English very well. Would you come with me to my room after ceremony? And I didn't understood what she said. And so because I'm very polite, I have this way when I don't understand, yeah. And so she asked me that. I say, oh, yeah. And so here's the moment where it's at the end of everything, and she stand up. So we go. There we go. I start following her, and like suddenly we're and I'm in this room like that with her. Like, okay, so that's how American woman does. Suddenly, undressed like. Yep, that was the story.
Then you guys got married at some point.
Yes, we met the full moon of the summer solstice.
Beautiful.
We didn't know that, and we learned it afterwards. We realized that it was the full moon of the summer solstice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you got married in the Shipibo tradition?
Yes. Yeah. So you did an engagement in the tradition, but the marriage is still the same, but a little bit more. It changed. The song is different, but the way we do the three turns inside, the applause, the gift and stuff, the flowers, is basically the same.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think we want to do the marriage that way for one wedding also. I was curious, the some of the singing you did in ceremony is like the kind of throat singing.
Yep.
It really felt like a wormhole or something opens up on the other side of the room, and like these otherworldly sounds are coming through. I wondered if are you able to perhaps give people a taste of what that is like, or is it?
Yes,
is it
well,
something
first
it's
it's interesting to know that this throat singing is probably the most ancient shamanic singing on earth.
Wow.
And so it really opens, as you said, other dimension.
Yeah.
But I myself I didn't choose it, it came naturally. I was singing my entire life at church. I'm a professional Byzantine church singer, so it's a different hat on my head. But I was interested in the sound, the power of the sound, and this mystery of the sound too, which is probably the mystery, the origin of everything. And so I get into this throat singing, and when I start to sing Icaros, it came naturally like that and made its way into my songs like that. So, but maybe did you record some Icaros in the?
Yeah, I did. So
because
I have
with
some.
the effect of ayahuasca. If you have one recording where there's this part, that would be better.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because I can sing it now, but I drank last night. But it's different, in a moment of ceremony. There's the intention, there's the vision that leads you.
I do have those, so I could potentially maybe like edit this video and lace in some of that. But if you do feel like singing it all now,
so basically it's called overtone singing. So it's with one breath, do two sound. Your voice, a bass, and on top you hear this. So that's but it's not just the sound. You have also the words and the intention that has to be put when you sing an Icaro.
So you somehow do the words and that at the same time.
Honestly, I don't choose that. I drink the ayahuasca and I put myself at the service. Okay, I'm here. I listen. Whatever you want to do with me, and I'm putting myself out there. And the ayahuasca, the plants comes and leads the song like that. Sometimes when I open my mouth, I don't know which sound is going to come out and which word is going to come out. And that when it's like that, that's really medicinal songs. You've been sung more than sing yourself.
Being sung. That's beautiful. I'm curious, what has been it's probably hard to know, but I'm curious about the most profound ceremony experience that you've ever had. Most profound or
Well,
most
the most
divine.
profound I cannot speak about it. Not that I don't want. It's because I had some experiences, like few of those, where you really get to these places where there is no way to rationalize them.
Yeah.
And so even now, if I want to go back to these memories and start to listen, okay, so I remember that happened, the chronology of it. There's a moment, I don't know, spiritual barrier. My mind stopped. I know that I went more than that, but I cannot speak about it. I'm fully aware of the memory, what happened, but I have no word to be translated. You understand? And so those ones are the precious ones. But yeah, the ceremonies were, for me now, back with all this experience, it's not necessarily the fully luminous one, the Disney World one. Are very good ceremonies, but not necessarily the deepest one. Yeah, there are some more deep work like that. But at some point when you diet, it's not so much the ceremonies, the dreams. You enter into this dream life, which is a second life, in fact. It's a parallel life where you, as even on diet, more active at night when you dream than during the day, where you lay in a hammock like that, smoke your mapacho, and wait for the day to pass. That's basically what you do on diet, taking plants. But at night, no, you have 6, 7, 8 fully complete, very vivid, most of the time lucid dreams at night, per night. And so that's what dreaming is ayahuasca ceremony every single night in your brain. It's the same process. When you dream, your brain is much more active than now when we speak. If we plug your brain and see the activity when you're deep dreaming and lucid dreaming even more, your brain is way much more in action, and simultaneously your two hemispheres are working together in a dream. Then when you are here, we're talking, we use one side, or the other side, we switch, chim, chim. In dreaming, you auto-create, auto-generate in the moment, like a retro-causality, your own world, the world of the dream. And so the brain is like way much more performant and active at night when we dream.
Yeah, dreaming is such a beautiful thing, and just it's amazing how everyone has these dreams every night, but most people just don't think anything of it. It's like, oh yeah, of course, every night we fall asleep, we dream, but actually it's very otherworldly.
Yes, but it's connected to our inner child.
Multidimensional.
Yeah, it's connected to the energy of the inner child, the joy, the enthusiasm, and also to our destiny, to our, I don't think predestination, but I think like there is something we're meant to do, on this earth, and so dreaming is also a way not to forget about it.
If you had to say something about those spaces that are just beyond the mind, where your mind stopped and there's that spiritual barrier, if you had to try to describe, what space did you go to?
I mean, it's very complex because a sense of yourself, you still feel yourself there, but you're not yourself anymore. It's like almost you're given an identity to be able to enter those worlds. So it's a little bit complex. It's a bit complex. I would say in those places, just be. There's that.
It's just being. Just be. Just pure being.
Just be. No think, no feel, just be. And
so there were no visions really in
No,
this
no, it's a pure visionary world. You're in a complete different dimension, eyes open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you feel, you smells, different smells and everything.
Okay. Wow.
But time and space are different, so it's complex to explain. It's really complex to explain, and I've struggled because I'm a philosopher for years to try to explain those damn things, and now I don't. So it's just like that. Those are my precious memories that I cannot explain, but they are there. Yeah.
I'm curious, what does God mean to you at this point in your journey, or if you have another word for the highest principle, whatever is the highest for you, what is
that I have no answer to that. That's probably the best answer.
Yeah, maybe it is.
For me, it's an experience, God. Experiencing the presence of God, that's what I'm seeking. And not so much having ideas about Him anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it's like you hear the source, but it's at night. You don't see it, but you can hear it. You can even drink it a little bit if you want, but you don't see it. It's at night. That's God for me.
Do you feel that anything is separate from God?
No.
Is this God right here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course, but it depends on the state of consciousness we are in, and so it's everywhere, every time, and but we are not all the time with Him. He's with us all the time, but we're not necessarily he or she with us. I mean, God is beyond that, and the genders.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to know that, for example, Spirit, the Holy Spirit, what we would say for the Hebrew, is feminine, ruah. It means spirit, but when we say spirit in our language, when in English it's different, but in French, no, it's masculine. But no, in the ancient Semitic tradition, it's feminine, the spirit. So I like that because it's beyond genders, you know. God is really beyond genders. It has nothing to do with that. But it needs also a manifestation to us, an anthropomorphization, so we can understand Him. So.
Yeah, I like the term father, mother, mind for God, and I think in the Kabbalion it says the father, mother, mind, but then it also says that the all also goes infinitely beyond even you know any genderization or any categorization.
I think genderization is important because it makes it possible to us to understand it, have some kind of comparison. But there's a moment where we have to be aware that no, we got to go beyond that. It's beyond everything.
Yeah, I think the masculine and feminine principles are really built into a lot of this reality that we experience. Those really deep, go beyond just man and woman, humankind, but it's like it's built into everything in a way.
I agree.
I'm curious, what does the word awakening or the word enlightenment mean to you at this point?
Well, I don't think about all that stuff myself. I just leave it, you know. But I think it's something it's already there, and we just have to find our way back. Yeah. For me, remember is more important than anything. Remember is there, and it's more memory or remember. And so everything is already there, but we're not. You understand? And so you have to find our way back. But this way back needs a work. It's not just I understand that by understanding that I'm there already. No, it needs a work to go back there and change ourselves.
What's interesting, I feel, is that you remember that you're already home, basically. You just remember that this is God and this is home, and it was almost like you just had a filter over your vision for a lot of years, and then the filter starts to dissolve, and it's just like, oh, I've been here the whole time.
But then you understand also the necessity of those filters, the positivity of those filters. They were nice and important, but there's moments we go beyond them.
Beautiful. Well, it's been a joy to speak to you,
brother.
I
can say the same. I was very happy meeting you, and I hope you the best, and now we're connected. So
absolutely, brother.
We keep going and keep drinking.
Bring more people to Kumankaya.
And, we try to help, adventures. You know. I'm just here at the service. To be honest with you, most of the time during ceremony, I don't want to drink the medicine. I would like to be normal. Have a pizza, drink a beer and watch a movie, but no, my life is at the service of that, and so now I'm okay with that. I made my even I found my joy into that, but it was hard at the beginning.
Well, the center you guys have built, it's just beautiful, and I can just highly recommend to anyone to go. So
good. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Finish.
Thank you.